Let us pray. Almighty God, we willingly acknowledge you as the supreme being, most gracious and most merciful. Look down, we beseech you, on us who are members of this Senate, and deign to assist us in the duties that we have to perform on behalf of our beloved country of Trinidad and Tobago. Open our eyes to see the truth, and help us to accept it with all its implications into our lives. Direct us, O Lord, in our deliberations, so that setting aside private interests, unwholesome prejudices, and personal affections, we may treat all matters set before us with honesty, courage, and conviction. Through all we say and do in this Senate, may we give glory and honor to your holy name, inspire confidence in our fellow citizens, and make a positive contribution to the peace and prosperity of our nation. Amen.
Oath or affirmation, announcements by the President, bills brought from the House of Representatives, petitions, papers.
Leader of Government Business.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Madam President, I have the honor to lay on the table the following papers as listed on the order paper and supplemental order paper in the name of the Minister of Works and Transport. The annual administrative report of the Point Lisas Industrial Port Development Corporation Limited, PLIPDECO, for the periods January to December 2017 and January to December 2018. The annual report of the Vehicle Maintenance Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago for the period 2015-2016.
Minister in the Ministry of Finance.
Madam President, I have the honor to lay on the table the following papers as listed on the order paper and supplemental order paper in the name of the Minister of Finance. The annual administrative report of the National Investment Fund Holding Company Limited for the year ended December 31st, 2018. The report of the Auditor General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago on the consolidated financial statements of the Trinidad and Tobago Unit Trust Corporation for the year ended December 31st, 2018. The annual audited financial statements of Youth Training and Employment Partnership Limited for the financial year ended September 30, 2018 and September 30, 2019. The report of the Auditor General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago on the financial statements of the Police Complaints Authority for the year ended September 30, 2019. The audited financial statements of Evolving Technologies and Enterprise Development Company Limited for the financial year ended September 30, 2018. The annual audited financial statements of the Deposit Insurance Corporation for the year ended September 30, 2019, and the report of the Auditor General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago on the financial statements of the Police Complaints Authority for the year ended September 30, 2019. Thank you, Madam President.
Minister of Labour and Small Enterprise Development.
Madam President, I have the honor to lay on the table the following papers listed on the order paper in my name. The ministerial response of the Ministry of Labour and Small Enterprise Development to the 8th report of the Joint Select Committee on Finance and Legal Affairs on an inquiry into the adequacy of magistrate courts facilities. Thank you, Madam President.
Vice President.
Madam President, I have the honor to lay on the table the following paper as listed on the supplemental order paper in my name. The annual administrative report of the Public Service Commission for the year 2018.
Madam President, I have the honor to lay on the table the following papers as listed on the order paper and supplemental order paper in the names of the Minister of Planning and Development, the Prime Minister, the Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs, the Minister of Education, and the Minister of National Security. The ministerial response of the Ministry of Planning and Development to the 8th report of the Joint Select Committee on Land and Physical Infrastructure on an inquiry into the effectiveness of measures in place to reduce traffic congestion on the nation roads. The ministerial response of the Ministry of Planning and Development to the 9th report of the Joint Select Committee on Land and Physical Infrastructure on an inquiry into the policies for the promotion of non-traditional methods of farming, including digital farming technology. The Phase 1 report of the committee appointed to develop a roadmap for recovery post-COVID-19 pandemic. The administrative report of the Sports Company of Trinidad and Tobago for the period 2015-2016. The administrative report of the National Institute of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology for the period 2015-2016. The administrative report of the University of Trinidad and Tobago for the period 2015-2016. The ministerial report of the Ministry of National Security to the 8th report of the Joint Select Committee on Finance and Legal Affairs on an inquiry into the adequacy of magistrate courts facilities.
Reports from committees.
Senator Mao.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I have the honor to present the following reports as listed on the order paper and supplemental order paper in my name. The 24th report of the Public Accounts Enterprises Committee, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an examination of the audited accounts, balance sheets, and other financial statements of the Export-Import Bank of Trinidad and Tobago, Exim Bank Limited, for the financial years 2012 to 2017. The 26th report of the Public Accounts Enterprises Committee, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an examination of the audited accounts, balance sheets, and other financial statements of the National Helicopter Services Limited, NHSL, for the financial years 2008 to 2014. The 27th report of the Public Accounts Enterprises Committee, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an examination of the audited accounts, balance sheets, and other financial statements of the Rural Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited, RDC, for the financial years 2012 to 2017. The 28th report of the Public Accounts Enterprises Committee, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an examination of the audited accounts, balance sheets, and other financial statements of the National Export Facilitation Organization of Trinidad and Tobago, Export TT, for the financial years 2014 and 2015. The 26th report of the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on the follow-up examination based on the ministerial response from stakeholders to the 12th report on the administration of disaster relief in Trinidad and Tobago. The 27th report of the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an examination into the expenditure and internal controls of the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs. The 28th report of the Public Administration and Appropriation Committee, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an examination into the maintenance of community pools by the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs. The 29th report of the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an examination into the delivery of projects and programs by the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. And finally, Madam President, the 13th report of the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an examination into the preparedness and response of public authorities to the COVID-19 pandemic in Trinidad and Tobago.
Senator C. Prasad.
I have the honor to present the following reports as listed on the order paper in the name of Senator Tahaka Obika. The 31st report of the Public Accounts Committee, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament. Follow-up on the implementation of the recommendations in the 15th report of the Public Accounts Committee on the examination of the audited financial statement of the Water and Sewerage Authority of Trinidad and Tobago for the years 2008 to 2013. The 32nd report of the Public Accounts Committee, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament. Follow-up on the implementation of the recommendations in the 16th report of the Public Accounts Committee on the examination of the audited financial statements of the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission for the financial years 2012 to 2015. The 33rd report of the Public Accounts Committee, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament. Follow-up on the status of the implementation of the recommendations on information and communication technology, ICT, governance, and general controls as stated in the reports of the Auditor General on the 2017, 2018, 2019 public accounts. The 34th report of the Public Accounts Committee, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an examination of the report of the Auditor General on the public accounts of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago for the financial year 2019. Thank you, Madam President.
Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries.
Madam President, I have the honor to present the following reports as listed on the order paper in my name. The third interim report of the Joint Select Committee appointed to consider and report on the Cannabis Control Bill 2019 in the 5th session 2019-2020 11th Parliament, and the 5th interim report of the Joint Select Committee appointed to consider and report on the Miscellaneous Provisions Local Government Reform Bill 2019 in the 5th session 2019-2020 11th Parliament. Madam President, I also have the honor to present the following report as listed on the supplemental order paper in the name of Senator Sophia Choate, Senior Counsel. The 10th report of the Joint Select Committee on Finance and Legal Affairs, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an inquiry into consumer awareness, empowerment, and protection systems. I thank you.
Industry.
President. Madam President, I have the honor to present the following report as listed on the order paper in my name. The interim report of the Joint Select Committee on Foreign Affairs, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an inquiry into the status of the CSME in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Senator De Freitas.
Madam President, I have the honor to present the following reports as listed on the supplemental order paper in my name. The 16th report of the Joint Select Committee on Local Authorities, Service Commissions and Statutory Authorities, including the THA, 5th session 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an inquiry into the efficiency and effectiveness of the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago, ACTT. The report of the Joint Select Committee on the Constitution Amendment Tobago Self-Government Bill 2018 in the 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament.
Senator Richards.
Thank you, Madam President. Good afternoon, everyone. Madam President, I have the honor to present the following reports as listed in the supplemental order paper in my name. The 15th report of the Joint Select Committee on Social Services and Public Administration, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on a follow-up inquiry into the existing arrangements and possible options for regulating geriatric care facilities, old age homes in Trinidad and Tobago. The 16th report interim of the Joint Select Committee on Social Services and Public Administration, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an inquiry into the system of rent regulation for housing accommodation in Trinidad and Tobago. And the 17th report of the Joint Select Committee on Social Services and Public Administration, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an inquiry into the Ministry of Education's strategies for ensuring continuity in the delivery of education amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you.
Rivera.
Madam President. Madam President, I have the honor to present the following report as listed on the supplemental order paper in my name. The 14th report of the Joint Select Committee on State Enterprises, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on a single evidence session with the Telecommunications Services of Trinidad and Tobago.
Senator Thompson-Aye.
Madam President, I have the honor to present the following report as listed on the supplemental order paper in my name. The 18th report of the Joint Select Committee on Human Rights, Equality and Diversity, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an inquiry into the treatment of migrants with specific focus on rights to education, employment, and protection from sexual exploitation.
Senator Timal.
Madam President, I have the honor to present the following report as listed on the supplemental order paper in my name. The 11th report interim of the Joint Select Committee on Land and Physical Infrastructure, 5th session, 2019-2020, 11th Parliament, on an inquiry into measures for ensuring water security in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Urgent questions.
Senator Mark.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. To the Minister of National Security, in light of recent threats by unknown individuals to harm and injure members of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, can the Minister indicate what steps are being taken to address these threats?
Culture, Land and Fisheries.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has been working along with other arms of national security in analyzing the posts being shared and circulated on social media. Once these are analyzed, the necessary responses will be employed. Madam President, as these are sensitive issues of national security, nothing further can be said on the matter at this time. Thank you.
Senator Mark.
Madam President, can the Minister indicate whether the government intends, given these threats, to engage the communities that have been engaged in these protests in recent days? Does the government intend to engage in any dialogue?
Senator Mark, I won't allow that question. Next question, Senator Mark.
Can the Minister indicate whether there is any credible evidence thus far that deals with threats to government ministers?
Mark, that question is not allowed. Next question, Senator Richards.
Thank you, Madam President. To the Minister of Social Development and Family Services, has the family of the young woman of the Beetham Gardens who was killed during the recent protest been offered counseling services?
Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries.
Madam Madam President, I thank Senator Richards for the question. Madam President, when a murder occurs, the Victim and Witness Support Unit of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service provides the first line of counseling for the families. The information is that this unit has been providing support to this particular family. The Ministry of Social Development and Family Services provides counseling thereafter. Once a family is still in need of further care and counseling after the initial intervention of the support given by the Victim and Witness Support Unit of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. I thank you.
Senator Richards.
President, is there any other type of support being offered, and condolences to the husband, David Joseph, should say that. Is there any other type of support being offered by the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services, inclusive but not limited to funeral arrangement support to the family?
Senator Richards, that question does not arise based on the question asked and the answer given. Yes?
Minister, has the ministry contacted the family for offering any kind of continued support given the circumstances of the husband and children involved?
Minister.
Madam President, as indicated in the response, the first responder is the Victim and Witness Support Unit of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Having regard, Madam President, to the circumstances, a murder in which there are investigations going on. Once the families of the victim receives that first intervention by the police service, anything that is required as follow-up is provided by the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. Thank you.
Questions or notice? Questions for oral answer.
Government business.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Madam President, the government is pleased to announce it will be answering questions number 156 and 158. We ask for a deferral of question 159 for 2 weeks.
Question 159 is deferred for 2 weeks. Senator Mark.
Thank you, Madam President. Question 156 to the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries.
Minister of Energy and Energy Industries.
I decided to take the podium to match Senator Mark one-on-one. Madam President, Parliamentary Fuel Trading Company Limited is restricted by confidentiality obligations in respect of disclosure of its commercial stroke trading contracts. Given the nature of Parliament's business, disclosure of any commercial or trading contracts could definitely compromise existing and potential customer business relationships and the company's operation. Any release of the said contract will contravene confidentiality provisions of the contract and therefore cannot be entertained. Subject to confidentiality obligations and without disclosing the specific contract and the commercial content stated therein, Paria has, however, confirmed that the said contract contained the following provisions, quote, no cargo shall be resold, stored, transferred, or traded into any sanctioned country, including but not limited to Cuba, Venezuela, Iran, North Korea, Syria, and Sudan. Thank you, Madam President.
And having regard to the fact that the fuel under query was eventually sold to Venezuela, can the minister indicate whether Paria Fuel has launched an investigation into the sale of its fuel to Venezuela?
Senator Mark, that question does not arise.
Madam President, given the importance of this transaction, to the economic well-being of TNT, can the minister indicate whether it is in the national interest to have the contract involving the transaction under question be made public?
Madam President, as far as I'm aware, there is no independent evidence that shows that the shipment of fuel actually went to Venezuela. Having said that, the situation is that once the ownership has been transferred to the party and once the transaction has been concluded, ParlView loses title to the shipment and as such has no policing power as to where it ends up thereafter. So in that context, there is no issue as far as ParlView is concerned and as far as the government of Trinidad and Tobago is concerned.
Senator Mark.
Can the minister clarify for this honorable Senate whether he's aware that the shipment of 150,000 barrels of gasoline would have been purchased at a cost of $40 a barrel and later resold to this particular company at a price of $37.50 US?
Senator Mark, that question is not allowed.
Madam President, can the minister indicate whether the government intends to examine or assess information that is circulating that some 200,000 barrels of gasoline was exported to Trinidad and Tobago, or bought, I should say, by ParlView some 3 weeks before same was sold to ES Europe Shipping? Can the Honourable Minister indicate, Madam President, whether he's aware?
No, that question does not arise. Next question, Senator Mark.
Madam President, is the Minister aware?
Used up your questions there, so you're literally the next question on the order paper.
Thank you, thank you. Can I be advised 158? 158.
Yes, 158.
Question number 158 to the Minister of Finance.
Minister in the Ministry of Finance.
President. Madam President, once again, Senator Mark raises a question that's based on a false premise. The final approved budget for CARIFESTA 14 was not $28.4 million. That was an initial budget done when the hosting of CARIFESTA by Trinidad and Tobago was first conceptualized. However, prior to the festival, which took place in August of 2019, Cabinet subsequently approved on July 4, 2019, the sum of $43 million for the hosting of CARIFESTA 14. As such, there is no requirement for a forensic audit. It should also be noted that the Central Audit Committee is in the process of conducting a final audit on the expenditure on CARIFESTA 14 in the usual manner. Thank you, Madam President.
Senator Mark.
President, can the Minister indicate, given the several financial discrepancies as observed in the Auditor General's report, whether the government is going to be launching a forensic inquiry into the expenditure of the $43 million for CARIFESTA?
Question is asked and answered, Senator Mark. So perhaps another question.
Madam President, is the minister aware that owing to the several discrepancies, financial discrepancies that arose from this particular exercise, that the report that, or the audit that is being currently conducted by the Central Audit of the Ministry of Finance, can the minister indicate, Madam President, when this audit will be completed?
Minister.
Madam President, I would first like to comment on the statement that there have been several discrepancies identified. That is not in fact so. The audit is in process now, and that will determine whether any issues arise for further attention, and I don't know the anticipated end of that audit, Madam President.
They're very garbled. I couldn't understand exactly.
Minister, Senator Mark did not hear your answer.
The expected date of the audit is not currently available, Madam President.
Yes, Senator Mark, the expected completion date is not available.
It's not available?
Yes.
Okay.
Next question, Senator Mark. Next.
Can, Madam President, through you, can the minister indicate what are the terms and reference of the Central Audit Committee in the examination of the expenditure of $43 million incurred by the ministry as it relates to CARIFESTA?
Minister. Madam President, the team is conducting a standard audit which requires them to examine both the expenditure and the income incurred and realized during the course of the festival, and they will report to the ministry when this matter is completed.
In regard to the observations made, am I okay? That's it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Motions relating to the business or sittings of the Senate are moved by a minister.
Leader of Government Business.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Madam President, having regard to the third interim report of the Joint Select Committee appointed to consider and report on the Cannabis Control Bill 2019 in the 5th Session, 11th Parliament, I beg to move that the committee be granted an extension to August 31st, 2020 to complete its work and submit a final report.
Honourable Senators, the question is that the Joint Select Committee appointed to consider and report on the Cannabis Control Bill 2019 in the 5th Session, 11th Parliament be granted an extension to August 31st, 2020 to complete its work and submit a final report. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. Leader of Government Business.
Madam President, having regard to the 5th interim report of the Joint Select Committee appointed to consider and report on the miscellaneous provisions Local Government Reform Bill 2019 in the 5th Session, 11th Parliament, I beg to move that the committee be granted an extension to August 31st, 2020 to complete its work and submit a final report.
Honourable Senators, the question is that the Joint Select Committee appointed to consider and report on the miscellaneous provisions Local Government Reform Bill 2019 in the 5th Session, 11th Parliament be granted an extension to August 31st, 2020 to complete its work and submit a final report. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it.
Public business, government business, committee stage.
Honourable members, the committee stage of the following bill, which was in progress when the Senate adjourned on Tuesday, June the 9th, 2020, will be resumed. A bill entitled, An Act to Establish a Council for Urban and Regional Planners and to Provide for the Regulation of the Urban and Regional Planning Profession and other matters incidental thereto. The Senate shall now go into Committee of the Whole to consider the bill clause by clause. Honourable Senators, may I remind you that we are now going to begin dealing with Clause 16. May I remind you that we have four sets of amendments circulated by the Attorney General, by Senator Thompson-Aye, by Senator Mark, and by Senator Dylan Remy. So everyone should be in possession of the four sets of proposed amendments. So if those who need copies of the proposal of all? Of all. So 1, 2, 3. Can I just see the hands again? Oh my. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. 6, 7. Right. I think this stops. Yeah.
We have further amendments you would like to make, and we propose, Madam Chair, to circulate a revised list of amendments, which now includes 3 new proposals and the further amendment of a proposal that was made before. So I'm asking if we can circulate to the members the revised list of amendments dated today, Thursday, 2nd July 2020. Thank you.
Is everyone comfortable now? Have you gotten all of the amendments, including the new proposed amendments by the Attorney General?
I didn't get the new amendments.
Amendments, the new list of amendments by the Attorney General will have to be circulated in a little while. They're being copied now as we speak. So at this stage, I will suspend the sitting for 10 minutes to allow those amendments to come before the committee. So the committee is suspended for 10 minutes.